GM Voodoo. How
What's
goes
up?
it?
What's up, man?
Oh, dude, another exciting one. Last week felt like a big week for us. So we're leading into this week with a bunch of momentum and let's keep it rolling.
Heck yeah, man! This is so exciting. What's happening on the AVAX front, and just the communities kind of breaking down some silos. And this last week, had an incredible opportunity to basically merge projects and bring Cloudheads, an incredible AVAX project. Awesome art, but really just an incredible community. And that's what you want when you're looking for an NFT project. Even more than the art, you want to know, is the community solid? Are they fired up? Is the leadership there? And everything about Mr. Wonderland and then Chiknwhalegod, the two guys running the show there, is impressive. I mean, these guys work nonstop in the AVAX NFT space. They've built trust. They've delivered on what they're doing, and so today we were hoping to have both of them on, but we have Chiknwhalegod on, which I don't know if I can refer to him as that the whole time. I might just call him God, Daddy, something. But we're so excited to have him on, and we'll get Mr. Wonderland on for another episode for sure because he's just awesome to talk with. So hopefully we can have him on next week. But yeah, Chiknwhalegod, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Uh, that's funny.
Yeah, I probably won't call you God. I was, probably Whale God will fit,
Yeah,
but.
you can call me Sean. That's fine too.
Okay, Sean. So you can call me Lawrence. You can call him Kyle, and I don't know what you can call Mr. Wonderland, but it's good. This is really the first time we were just talking kind of off stage. I don't know, before we went live. This is the first time we've gotten to like meet face to face here and chat, and so man, it's exciting to meet you and get to talk with you. And I'm going to let Tinfoil kind of lead this little interview part, ask you some questions, find out more about you, and really introduce you to a lot of the Fantom community and a lot of the Potluck community who are just getting into. A lot of them are just getting into AVAX NFTs and starting to get hooked. So, Tinfoil, yeah, take over, man.
Yeah, so Whale God, man, when we first started getting the idea of like, wow, we got to go multi-chain, and started, trying to follow who are the most respected accounts across the AVAX ecosystem, and we kept seeing these damn chickens everywhere, and all of a sudden you have the name Chiknwhalegod and are a very respected member of the community. Um, what is your journey into crypto, into AVAX, into being Chiknwhalegod? Because that's a massive project on the AVAX ecosystem.
Yeah, I know for sure it is. And I'll say, I kind of got lucky with chicken, but I'll kind of start a little bit before that. Um, I got into crypto back in like 2017 when I was painting bridges out in Rhode Island,
Hmm.
and I had kind of always felt like I had a bigger purpose than just doing like manual labor, but I was always kind of like trying to push my boundaries and like really like the challenge of like kind of working with your hands and being able to like provide for yourself and your family in that way. But I'd helped kind of put my wife through school doing nursing and stuff, and I always felt like my path, I didn't quite know what it was. But as soon as I found out about crypto, um, it instantly just kind of got me excited about like finance and certain things that I didn't really even pay attention to too much. So when I came into the space, I was like most people, kind of like that moon Lambo mentality, but got in at the tail end of 2017 and just kind of wrote it down for like 3 years, which is something that I'm actually really proud of because to believe in something and believe in yourself through like research and to buy a depreciating asset, it just kind of shows like faith. And then when it all kind of like starts turning around, it kind of validates all the hard work, you know. Um, and so fast forward to about November, right before Chicken was coming out, I had actually had a different account that I was kind of like bouncing back and forth with like the idea inside, like if I really wanted to do like influencer type stuff, because my account was starting to kind of build up a little bit. And I was just like, you know what, I'm just gonna delete this account. And at this time, like I was just doing like purchasing like coins, you know, XRP, just a bunch of random stuff, and it staring at charts a lot, and I just wasn't really satisfied. Um, and then I stumbled across chicken, and when I created this new Twitter account, I kept, you know, started fresh. It was weird. Like my echo chamber completely changed. And
Mm.
instead of having like these influences that I've already kind of created over time since like 2017, it instantly started bringing a lot of Avalanche people on my feed. And so I got sucked into a few projects over there, and I started. It was actually the first time I even created a MetaMask was just in November, you know, which is crazy to think.
Right. Wow.
But so I saw chicken, and it just instantly kind of intrigued me, almost kind of like because it was kind of funny and almost like memeable. I didn't know anything about like the tokenomics or anything like that. I was just purely buying it because it just made me feel good, kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know, I ended up minting like over 200 chickens, not knowing like its full potential. You know,
Right.
and not even knowing that that was crazy to mint that many. You know, which everyone kind of laughs at me because like, how could you not know that that's an excessive amount? But you know, it just kind of like fell into my lap in that sense as I kept researching it and seeing like the fundamentals. I was like, man, this is like actually a really special project. And so once I started getting connected to like the community, it kind of crypto changed for me.
Mhm.
I used to feel like I was kind of walking the road alone, and then that NFT culture, it's so special, and it kind of brings you in on a different level. And I didn't realize it, but like I think there was probably a decade where I felt uninspired and not necessarily depressed, but missing something. And
Mm.
then the introduction of like the NFT culture has inspired me on a creative level that like I feel so much more fulfilled. And so like transitioning over a period of time, like so what happened for me with chicken is like we got into about a month and a half into the project, and you know how it is with like the hype machine, right? Like when there's nothing going on, people lose interest. So I was just kind of sitting there one day, and I was like how can I bring value to the project, even though I have nothing to do with it other than I just own a ton of chickens. I decided I wanted to do like these chicken giveaways, but with a twist. Like instead of just having like and retweet, because I had no interest in being like an influencer at the time. The reason why I, you know, got rid of my old account. Well, we started this Bach for Cock is what it was called, these giveaways, and then instantly people started creating
That's
like all
hilarious.
kinds of memes, and just it just built week after week. You know, I think I ended up giving away like over 30 chickens during that giveaway time, and it's like uh, the that community vibe. Like I haven't felt anything that intense and that like family like than when I was enjoying that little run up with chicken and the giveaways and all that stuff. And so that kind of like solidified this new purpose in the crypto space for me. And then through that, I was able to meet Mr. Wonderland. And at the time, he was working for Swarms or with them in the Discord and stuff. And I seen the Swarms project, and I was like, man, here's just another great project coming to Avalanche. And so, you know how chatty Mr. Wonderland is. We ended up kind of talking in DMs, and I offered him a chicken, and that kind of like forged our friendship there. And he's one of those guys that he'll DM you every morning. He's like, "Hey, good morning, how's it going?" Like just real positive vibes, you know.
Yep.
And so instantly, I was like attracted to like that personality type, you know. And
Mm.
then he kind of dropped on me like later on, like, "Hey, man, like I'm an artist too." And like I had no interest in like creating my own project. Like I just was loving the NFT space as a whole. But as I don't know what it's like over in Fantom, but in the Avalanche, especially back in like November, December time, there was so many rugs going on, and it was discouraging and watching people get wrecked. Through meeting Mr. Wonderland and him wanting to get out his own art, he kind of reached out to me and was showing me his stuff. He's like, "Hey, is there any way that like, you know, we can combine like the Bach for Cock with like my art and bring a project to the space. And I started thinking about it, and it was like, I love the challenge of like being able to produce something that um, is reliable, that brings communities together the same way that like I felt with chicken, to
Mm,
be able to provide a project that is sustainable and like prove everyone wrong, that like you don't have to rub to make money in the space. And
mm.
so yeah, I've just been inspired by like the challenge of like changing the culture just in Avalanche. So
Yeah, so there's a few things I want to touch on here. That is a big statement for me because culture, setting a culture and changing the culture, that's everything for us with Potluck. We look at Solana and ETH and the volume that happens over there, and I I've talked to people that have dabbled over there, and the people that I respect, they're like, it's great to make money, but there is no culture over there. It is that rug pull, like fight on your own. Very much what you said earlier, kind of that token mindset, where it does
yeah,
feel like you're just on a road by yourself, and
yeah,
if you don't make the right trades, well, they're damn. And if you make the right trades, even when you win, you just don't feel like you have a family to celebrate with.
yeah,
So I want to touch on, that's a huge thing for me, man, because I witnessed myself go through that, where I spent very little time in just trading tokens, but the idea of an NFT community was just something else. Um, I love your story, man. It's so similar to myself. Like I was a carpenter mason, so the whole working with your hands, building with your hands, now being in this weird digital metaverse space, but continuing to want to build, like I think is massive. Um,
Hey, it looks like we
Mr.
got joined here.
Wonderland, rocking the nice Uman bucket hat. Somebody had to wear one
I
today.
love this hat, man. I love this hat. Sorry for the delay.
Oh, it's all
Did,
good.
are you the one who It's not you. Somebody posted, because I'm looking at your head. It fits your head. But somebody got that Uman bucket hat, and they said it looked like a little yarmulke on them because they had a big old head.
It wasn't me.
Well, welcome, man. We'll get to your story here in just a second. But then I think maybe if we can make sure we're muted when we're not talking, because I think there's a little echo that came on, because it'll just pick up on other people's feeds. But glad you could join us, my man, from the Dominican Republic, from the DR. Let's go.
Nice and warm down there. But yeah, and Chiknwhalegod, the other thing that you mentioned, coming from the collector background, falling in love with a project, aping a project, and then trying to bring value to that project is massive. That is how I found myself in this space as well. And I think that's something that just can't be reverberated enough to collectors. Like as a collector, the ones that I've done best on are projects that I've brought value to as a collector. And I think just that is massive. It's not just sit there, collect things, and it sits in your wallet forever. There is the idea of like everybody's got to work for this as well. So I'm glad that you touched on that. But let's get into the kind of I guess we'll get into Mr. Wonderland's story before we get into the Couldheadz project.
I want to just interrupt and say that, well, God, you and Tinfoil need to talk more, because you guys have a very similar story. You're both tradesmen for a decade. You both knew that it wasn't enough, like there was something missing, and you both kind of got that, not just fulfillment, but new life again because of the NFT space, and it just unleashed the creativity that was already within you. And you both, I mean, it's very, I don't know, it's kind of eerie how similar the trajectory of your lives are.
I've said it. I told them I met Tinfoil, obviously Fantom when I started first. So I was like, Tinfoil, like I don't remember who I said, but I was like, Chiknwhalegod is the Tinfoil of Avalanche, and vice versa.
Yeah,
Givers, similar story. Yeah, I'm serious, man. It was crazy when I first started noticing the things, and I kept saying it and saying it. Nobody listens to me. Nobody listens to Mr. Wonderland.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because this morning,
now that I got to know you guys a little bit more. Like that's quite the compliment because I really think that what you guys have is special. And like I was telling Mr. Wonderland the other night, like just Potluck Labs and everything, it's just so polished and like just really cool to even kind of be able to bring Cloudheads to like your platform as well. So it's exciting.
No, we appreciate that big time. And yeah, I mean, I appreciate you using the word polished. We're just grinding through this as everyone else, and there was a great space this morning that Freud from the Flamingos hosted called Unbreakable Creators, and it's a weekly Twitter space that he does now. But yeah, talk about unbreakable creators. Like a lot of the concept, even Voodoo had mentioned. Many of us in this space right now like don't come from money. So a lot of the builders that in this space that don't come from money, well, we're just gonna keep building. That's always been the thing. You have to just build to get by. So like, there is a mentality behind that. Um, so yeah, for you having a similar story to me, I respect the hell out of it.
Yeah, and one thing that I didn't really get a touch on too much is like when I was talking about like, coming into the space with like that Moon Lambo mentality, but like riding that market for like 3-4 years going down. It's funny like the transformation that happened like just mentally on like what I valued in life.
Mm.
Like now like I would never want in a million years to have like the physical objects. It's just more like providing value in a space that I love that much. And so like I am really grateful for that bear market that I rode through because it gave me a perspective and tools that have really allowed me to appreciate the space and also want to bring value to it instead of just suck the value out of it.
No, I love hearing that. Well, let's get into the Cloudheads project a little bit, because I mean, we have a lot of everybody. Most people watching this episode are coming from the Phantom space and probably have no idea on the details kind of behind the Cloudheads project. So let's get into what is Cloudheads? What's it about?
So Cloudheads, his main focus is art and creating the ability to have custom art. But we wanted to do it in an interesting way where people like the generative stuff. And so how can we bring the most sustainable value to people? Well, we decided we were going to do a 10,000 collection, but we really want to cater to a smaller community. And so, like, we created this burning mechanism where you can burn five. So you're bringing in that 10,000, like on this platform, AVAX, because we're minting at one AVAX a piece, and we're able to take that value. And as people burn their collection, they can reduce it all the way down to 2,000 supply. And so it's a much easier way to take care of a tight knit community by reducing it. And then the value that we're bringing to the space is like to sit down with an artist and have that custom 101 that's really kind of tailored to what you're into, but also kind of have that community that we're building. Cloudheads community is like first and foremost. We try to get together every Friday and play games and auctions and stuff like that. And so that's kind of like the gist of Cloudheads is like we're focused on bringing value to our strong community, and we want it to whittle down into something tight knit, like I said, 2,000 people.
Honestly, I love the mentality because I mean, we with Potluck, we've been doing that. We've got a collection kind of similar in the mechanics of like our Creatures of the Cave 2 kind of works like that in terms of you're going to be able to burn creatures to get a build your own. But you're right. Like, it's funny because I'm really big into the one of one art culture. I love it. I also do like the generatives. Now, I've personally like I envision like a shift a little bit towards one of one art. But there's when I go through Twitter, like the amount of people that aren't into one of one art and are just into the generatives. Like that is that's a feeling. It's the opening a card pack and not knowing what you're gonna get. Um, I don't think that's going away anytime soon, to be honest. Because I've just literally seen collectors who are like, yeah, I like one of one art and I'll collect it here and there, but the generative stuff is my game. Like this is what I like doing.
Yeah, I agree, and that's like I said why we decided to still do the generative, but it also like helps benefit the one of one, the
Yeah.
people that are really into that, um, and also, like the way that we have it structured is like all the royalties and all that trading for the people that like to just kind of flip NFTs, like for our generative collection. Like the royalties we send back to like the cloud funds that help us, purchase like quality, like as Obsession, when you guys launched that just last week, we were able to sweep the floor on all these high quality projects that are minting uh, through that. So yeah, that's
Yes.
just our
So let's
focus.
get into the drip a little bit, because I keep
Okay.
hearing about drip, and I think that's super awesome because yeah, these cloud heads, they're decked out, and drip feels like the perfect term for them.
Yes. So drip, we're always trying to navigate through like, securities and stuff like that. So we drip is like a vague thing. Drip can be NFTs, like the custom holders can get dripped. Roosters is a really desirable
Mm.
part of the chicken ecosystem, and so like you might get airdrop a rooster or obsessions or any number of NFTs. But drip could also be Fantom tokens, it could be lab tokens, it could be any asset in the space. We're trying to accumulate things and then provide value for the people that kind of invest in our, art, and creating like our own little, you know, art society that kind of, helps kind of each other.
Yeah, no, I love this. Now to qualify for drip, you have to do the mint 5 burn 5 for the
Exactly.
custom, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a great way to just, it's everything. It covers everything. It you do the generative so people, get the feeling of opening that card pack, and then yeah, it is a great way to kind of whittle down into your like true collectors, and those true collectors are the one that you want to give value to. So those are the ones that qualify for the drip. Uh, I do want to get into kind of the cross chain stuff a little bit, and why the Fantom ecosystem will want to get in on Cloudheads, because the treasury that you guys are building up in terms of these NFTs and stuff are pretty insane. And I know that you guys have started going cross chain,
Yeah.
and collecting some blue chips over here.
Yeah, my goal was always to like even before I got into doing NFTs, like I always hated the tribalism in the space. And so when we were launching Cloudheads, like, and we were doing like our radio show that we do, our Twitter space every Friday, we're catering to like the Avalanche community because we have like that's our base. That's where we kind of started, but never really wanted to end there. And knowing Mr. Wonderland and the projects he's worked with and the relationships with other artists and like the relationship with you guys, um, we all love NFTs and we don't need to be on one chain. And another thing too is like I hear so many people in the Avalanche space um, talk about how there's not a strong enough NFT um, user experience over here. Like there's just not a lot
Mm.
of volume. Well, it's like instead of sitting around complaining about that, we're just like, well, let's just go out there and provide the ability to bring them over here. And what better way to do that than with like an already thriving ecosystem with you guys over there in Fantom?
This has been our concept, and yeah, this is the relationship that's happening, because we've said this for a long time. When we first wanted to start going cross chain, building cross chain relationships, it was about, you know building a bigger community that we're all collecting NFTs. Like if I'm collecting NFTs on some 60th rank chain, and I like these NFTs more than ETH and Solana, like why wouldn't other chains have awesome ecosystems like this? So now
Yeah.
you start to tap in together. Yeah, I love that mindset. Stop bitching about the volume. Go out and try to bring it. Uh,
Yeah.
so that's exactly what we're seeing. We're seeing Fantom, a lot of people in the Fantom ecosystem that are coming over to AVAX, and getting into the blue chips on AVAX. And then you're seeing our Discord's full of people in AVAX that are now getting into the blue chips on Fantom and supporting Fantom projects. We're just this weekend in our little maxi chat, it kind of came up in conversation. There was a couple big Uman buys. You guys had bought a couple Umans, a couple other AVAX people bought some Umans, and it was like, oh, what you guys said was going to happen is starting to happen.
Yeah. Yeah, and you know how it is. It's kind of like first it's like trickle, and then the floodgates kind of open up. I feel like, especially during this bear market, when the value of the NFTs are a little bit better, like entry points. Just finding out about like those Umans, like Mr. Wonderland showed me, those things are beautiful, like high quality. Obviously, they're up for award and stuff. It's like I'm really glad that like I'm kind of opening up my mind to jumping over to other platforms early on in this NFT space, because I don't want to be kicking myself later on down the road because I was stuck in just one chain. So
yeah, no, I that's what when you look at the volume on Solana and Ethereum, and I mean I see the Twitter feed. The goblins are a big thing now, and now it's just like I'm just seeing a million different derivatives of goblins that
yeah,
some of them have more volume on this one goblin derivative than our chains in NFTs. And it's like, yeah, we know what we're building here. We know that that's naturally, that gets old real fast. I'm already seeing the Fantom collectors that have went over there to kind of get some volume. Like it gets old. You get a couple wins and then you get a whole bunch of losses and it's like, all right, I'm done with this now.
yeah.
So I think, and I want to toss this over to Mr. Wonderland on his thoughts here, but I think what we're doing in building a cross-chain community that people can trust is going to be huge. And obviously, I think, some people that there's a sentiment where you may be chasing money if you're trying to go over to ETH or Sol. Like people have that type of mentality, especially when in Fantom or AVAX are down, because everything's down a lot. But the volume right now is just tremendous on those other chains. But you got to understand, like everyone in our community wants to make money. They want their NFTs to go up in value. They love to mint something for 0.1 ETH and see it be worth 4 ETH, a couple days later, like some of these projects, or a free mint that's now, at 4 or 5, like the Goblin Town. And so it's not about going to chase money. It's about building a foundation of a community that's there with each other that knows, hey, if we do go to these chains, we're not going to get rugged. We can go to these chains and actually have a chance to be successful, to make money, to bring in tons of collectors. And I know we've got plans, to do something, a next project that's going to benefit, current Couldhead holders. But the next version, we've got bigger ambitions on chains, not just Fantom, not just AVAX. We want to go bigger. And I'm not going to give away too much alpha, but I want everyone to understand the benefit of that is that even if you didn't even go to those other chains to mint the next project, it's going to bring in all these users to our ecosystem. Because what happens is people on ETH or people on Sol, they mint the project, then they come in our Discord and they see all these other projects. They come in the Couldheadz Discord, they come in our Discord, and what do you think they do? You think they just say, oh, you know what? I just like this one project. Or no, they say, man, this is a community that's incredible. And they've got 15, 20, Potluck's got, 20 plus projects that I could ape into for nothing on these other chains. And they're bridging funds and they're coming. And now all of a sudden we have AVAX NFT season again. We have Fantom NFT season. Like that's what's going to happen. So we just can't sit here and be like, you know what? I wish that AVAX and Fantom would do something to bring in more Sol users and ETH users. It's, man, let's go out there and let's bring it to them. And let's give them a reason to come to Fantom. And the reason they're going to come to Fantom or AVAX is because of communities like we have. And so this powerhouse, man, I'm just so excited. Mr. Wonderland, man, your passion, just you're as active as we are. You like live on Twitter.
Yeah.
And, the Couldheadz family obviously loves you so much, man. And so you're the one who brought this to us and had this idea for us to partner up and for us to go multi-chain and to make these things happen together. And so what are your thoughts? Like, I mean, obviously this is a forum to be able to address our community and your community. And so, yeah, man, floor's yours.
I mean, I'm super excited. Thank you for letting us be here, first of all. But yeah, man, I mean, obviously I've been following you guys for throughout my beginning. My first NFT, as I've said a million times, was the flamingos through Fantom, and then through them minting through AVAX, I went to AVAX and got more because I was late on the Fantom flamingo. But it was like my first $1,000 spent on an NFT. Um, on the AVAX side, because I was late on the Fantom side, because I was trying to get like you buy one, you get a free flamingo, but I was late for that, so I didn't get a free flamingo, so I got pissed. So I went and bought 10 flamingos. At that time, I believe, I don't remember, but I spent like $1,000. I bought like 7 or 8 flamingos, had 9 altogether, and then I went into that Discord, first Discord I ever went into. And it was just a lot of fun, man. Met Freud, built an amazing relationship with those guys over there. He's like one of my favorite artists. I mean, for me, and the way you guys were working and being a fan of what you guys been doing for a while now, I mean, to be honest, Well God and me were like, this is something we should definitely try to go after. You know what I'm saying? Because obviously, I have talked about it. We've invited Tinfoil to some of our spaces, and it was like you guys were the only ones that were doing the same things we were doing in terms of wanting to merge people and keep building through the hard times when everybody kind of went on a hiatus and went in a hideout. So you seen you guys out and loud as well as us, and it was kind of like, I don't know, for me, something I really wanted to make happen. I didn't know exactly how it was going to work, but I knew it was something that I wanted to try to get, working with you guys, that is. Because watching the space when times get rough is you start noticing who stands out and who's still there and who's still working, you know what I mean? And we're still working, we're still grinding. So why not team up with somebody who's doing the same,
Yeah, it's funny because there's been a mentality, like I've seen a couple of the big influencers on Fantom that have tweeted lately that, watch during these bear markets, some of the mergers that happen. And this is going to be a thing. Like the builders will continue to build.
Yeah, and building out loud and building quietly is kind of, for me, two things different. We're building out loud. We're not stopping, just like you guys. You're out there. You're promoting every week. You're showing your stuff every week. You're showing that you ain't stopping. Us too. So it was just, for me, like, something that made sense. Like super sense, and especially me being a fan of you guys and what you guys were doing, and obviously loving Fantom and starting through there. Kind of wanted to drag Well God to the Fantom side a little bit. So I think we've done that. He's on an FT key now looking at stuff, so it's a problem now. Watch out, Flores.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's awesome to see. I love the cross-chain relationship that's kind of starting to come up between Fantom and AVAX. I genuinely think it's being noticed by people in the ecosystem. Like there's something going on. I think this is going to just reverberate itself to those big chains that have all the volume.
Yeah, I'm active, and I didn't know anything about the traversing, about, like when I started going into the Potluck website and started going into, like the tofu stuff and looking at it, it was like, I don't even visit any of these places. You know what I mean?
Well, it's hilarious. I'm just now seeing some of the biggest ETH accounts, some like influencers that I really respect in the ETH area, start now just finally talking about multi-chain NFTs and how they're starting to see a multi-chain future. And it's like, guys, y'all are a little bit behind over there. We're already doing this. Let's go.
Yeah, it's awesome to be early, man. Like before the big things happen, because we get to navigate through it, and kind of see what works, what doesn't. But yeah, I think it's gonna be exciting times, man. I think as soon, like, my first experience was technically cross chain, if you think about it, because I went to Fantom, I bought one mango right before the mint finished, and then like 2 days later, no, I'm lying, not 2 days later. I don't know. It was a little bit time later. They went to AVAX. I think it was like a week or something, maybe, or I'm not sure. It was a long time ago in crypto world. I can't remember, but I bought in right away, and I was already in the Discord for the first one. So I went to AVAX right away. That's how I learned how to use AVAX. That's how I stayed on AVAX, to be honest, because after that, I found more projects, you know what I'm
Right.
saying, that I wanted to start working with.
Exactly.
And I started through working to the Trips NFT, which was like a Wonderland based NFT concept that kind of gave you the rebases through the NFT, which is a pretty cool concept. But like, you know, what happened with Wonderland and stuff. So project is still ongoing. I think they're building and working. So love to them always. Trips NFT. And then I went over to Swarms and met them through Avalanche. And I kind of built my name a little bit through working with Swarms and even
Well,
more.
we should get into our topics because we have a couple AVAX guys in here, and you guys can offer us some further AVAX education on some of these topics.
Yeah, man. Shoot.
Yeah, Plot Twist, you want to bring up the topics for us? So let's get into what's minting. So on Fantom right now, I've got a few that are minting on
Well,
Fantom.
hey, we got to do it differently because if we're going to talk with them still on, we can't do that screen. So
Yeah.
here's what I wanted to do, just time wise, because I just planned on, once we got delayed here, I was thinking we could just do it more like just continued open discussion a little bit, and you could ask them a few of those, a few of those questions on the AVAX side, and then we could throw in if there's anything. But we don't really have to stick to the topics as much as just continuing this conversation. But I would like to know their opinion on what's happening. And so I know you got some questions there.
Yeah, because I want to know some of the current mints that you guys are looking at on AVAX.
So me, the one that's out right now that I'm really excited about is a project out of Australia called Metropius. And the reason why I think it's so interesting is because they have like a production studio, and they've been working on this project for 5 years, which I like the fact that it wasn't just rushed out. It's been in the works. It wasn't necessarily supposed to be a NFT project, but it just kind of made sense as, through COVID and stuff, they're talking about the transition and how the community always kind of comes to the forefront of conversations. They're like, seeing what is going on in the NFT space, they wanted to be a part of it. And so every NFT that you mint gives you in real life comic for their collection. But they also have some a metaverse that they're working on currently. They have a short film that they're working on that eventually is supposed to be turned into a TV series of some sort. Um, and so just the I like to invest in people, and like when I talk to like Mel Poole, who's one of the main people of the project, I see just true professionalism, and I think that their project's going to be something that is going to stand the test of time in an Avalanche. And so that's the one that I'm kind of mostly focused on. And then from an art standpoint, I really like Swarms. They're still minting. Um, those are kind of the two that kind of stand out. But obviously, always chicken for life, but they're just not minting.
I love what you just said. Both those projects are ones that, I obviously knew about Swarms because of Mr. Wonderland and him kind of let me know about the project very early on, way before they minted. And got a few of them, love them. And then the Metropius ones, we actually, with Obsession, we used them as one of the tribute pieces, even though they were a brand new project, just because same thing. I believe that I didn't know they've been doing this for 5 years. That's incredible. And I love when these projects have realized the power of, hey, let's take this, I don't know, in real life project, Web 2, and let's go Web 3. Let's make this an NFT. I just think that adds, it's just adding a lot of value to the space. It's not, there's a difference. There's builders who are building something and then they come to Web 3 and, it's not empty promises because, man, they've been doing this for a long time versus a lot of projects are like, hey, if you give us $2 million in this mint, we'll make a game. And so, I love that it's film and comics and just like all these different avenues. So big Metropius fan as well. But what about you, Mr. Wonderland?
I have to. I don't. I wanted to say something different, but is that we talk so much, so we're very aligned in what we like. So I have to say the same. Obviously, Swarms. I worked with them for a while, and they still got my full support. I just obviously can't handle being in there and working hand to hand like I was with them, having our own stuff now. So, but they always have my support. But yeah, I would have to say those are my two favorite right now, and obviously we all love chicken. So
Yeah, so
yeah,
I got
I
the
think
other
it.
the other couple that I've been looking at on AVAX. I've been looking at those Ava Shrooms. 'Cause I've been seeing them come on a couple of spaces with their theme song, and it just kills me every time they do it. Uh, so I've been looking at them, and I like the supply price. Same with the baddies in terms of this art supply price. I'm a fan of it. On the Phantom side of things, I got a couple that I want to mention. Yokai Chain. It's like a on chain, or I guess they're not on chain anymore, but they were. It's an NFT project minting. It's like 15 Phantom, kind of anime style, but they're building out a whole tools ecosystem, kind of like a rarity tools marketplace, sort of like a collector profile gallery kind of thing. Um, so it's a team that has kind of big aspirations and doing a lot of building behind the scenes. Also want to mention Sweet Tango, which is kind of like I'll call it GameFi, I guess. But you mint these. It's a character that is usable and playable in their little land metaverse thing. Um, oh, I see Illuminati Congo in the chat here brought up the spot on AVAX, which I think is getting pretty close to minting out, and that's a good one because it's a 2-for-1 mint at this point. They have a PFP collection coming, so any new minters of the spot will be able to get a PFP airdrop for that as well.
Yeah, they got the goated NFTs. I was playing with the website the other day. I haven't minted yet, but I kind of got lost in how you do it because I was just building it and I thought I could mint it, but you got to kind of actually get the assets to do it. But I'm working on it. I'm working on it.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to check more of it out. And then a couple other ones I want to mention on Fantom. The Fantom Academy of Magic by Roshan Gel. I think that's an awesome project. Again, so much building behind it going on, and just incredible art.
Yeah,
Voodoo, you got
Slotopia. That's one that I've had my
Slothopia?
eye
Yeah.
on for a while. I've had that one. I even talked to him before and said, when you come to AVAX, let us know so we can, do what we do for him.
Yep.
But
There's some cross chain
I
aspirations
I
there.
love what he's doing. Yeah, I love what he's doing. I think that's one of the better looking metaverses in the space, to be honest, in terms of how it's used and how it looks. You know what I mean? So I'm a fan of that. I'm excited. I'm excited waiting for that one.
No, you're absolutely right. Voodoo, you got any projects that you're looking at that are minting right now?
No, I think that, I mean, there's probably some,
So many.
but yeah, there's a lot. There's always a lot that want my money and I want to spend it. So what about one-on-one artists on AVAX that you guys are fans of? I know it's like a burgeoning scene that's kind of really just getting going on AVAX. You know, there's been a few that have been there for a while, but as far as Fantom is known for one-on-one artists who then went on to make generatives, and I think AVAX is kind of known for generatives and DeFi with aspects like DeFi, like Chicken. But are you all in as far as on any one-on-one artists there? Like, do you keep up with that? Do you buy any, or is that something that you're not even really following yet?
No,
For me,
yeah, I like the meta. Oh, go ahead. My bad, Will. Go.
no, you can go and then I'll go after you.
I have a few, yeah, that I've been trying to catch. Meta cards. I really like the meta cards and what he's doing. Those are kind of
Thre-
one of ones still on Avalanche because he's
Threxus.
just throwing them on auctions. I
Yep.
love those. Those things look amazing. Josh Hughes, Rare Gems, and then he has like these gems that give you access to this room, to like this private room, to where he talks about his project. He's from Campfire. Um, Let me see who else. Who else?
That was some alpha that
Uh,
you weren't supposed to drop.
no, Metacards is like he does auctions and on Campfire, and then the Josh Hughes. Oh, you talking about the Josh Hughes? He does rare gem. He does the rare gems. Oh, I got you now. Damn. Well, at least people know now. You get one, you get a
Hey,
special group.
hey,
Sorry,
it's
sorry,
NFT.
Josh.
This is
It's
NFT
NFT
alpha.
alpha, man. That's what happens.
Just
You know what I'm saying?
You can't help but spill alpha. It's just what happens here.
Damn, me and my big mouth. But
Well,
yeah, I mean, I love those projects. I have well, I'm trying to get a meta card right now for this latest one. But I don't have one yet. But I do have Josh Hughes rare gem. Um, and hamburgers for all. I think he's gonna be amazing in the space. Like me and him talk on a daily, and I think he's starting to come into his own and starting to work. And he's kind of doing auctions every week now too. So yeah, those are three people that I like a lot in terms of just one of one artists that don't have a generative right now. Yeah, Teens on Acid just jumped on AVAX. Auctions. I mean, who's not a fan of that? I mean, that's just insane. So obviously looking forward to what he's going to put out on AVAX.
well, who do you got?
His first one went crazy.
Yeah, so I'm gonna repeat Josh Hughes from Campfire, and not only because of his rare gems, his cuttlefish collection is so badass, and so every one is actually auctioned off. But like the floor last time I looked was 50 AVAX,
Yeah.
and they just hold the floor too. And so I haven't been able to get one of them yet. And if you haven't seen them yet, definitely go over there and check them out. They're really cool looking. But he's one of the guys that I think is early in this space that can command just his knowledge of art in general and just the stuff that he's producing. He's got two different styles that he's currently got right now, and I love both of them. So um, there's a couple other one of one artists that I can't quite even think of the name right now because I bought them a couple months ago, but I think I'll just kind of stop right there with just Josh Hughes is kind of needs the spotlight, I think, because he's really talented.
So my AVAX guys to watch. I love. I'm gonna go the other burgers. I'm gonna go with Burger Picks. Burger Picks. We just had him in auction. Just it's amazing just seeing his collection size and the volume that he's already done. Yeah, that's an opportunity for people. We got. I just bought a couple of these pieces this weekend. Teros Aso. He's got this like kind of glitchy. It's a very glitchy style. I've seen his collection on Kalau, and he had an auction on Campfire, and he's also dropping some pieces on Tezos. But I just seen Snoop Dogg just bought an NFT and posted about it, and like I was looking at it going like, the very very similar style to what this guy's been dropping on AVAX already. So Teros Aso is one of them. I want to mention our Turkish brothers, Sarp and Tunç Sırdas. I think both of them are terribly underrated. And then my last one is Sezgin Ozgur. I probably butchered that name, but he's got these like one of one pill looking things. They're like a 3D pill face. And I just noticed he started to do collabs with Ali Ergin, the stage artist. He did a collab with Sarp Sirtis. I think there's a collab with Tap Tap coming. But yeah, that's a really cool collection that I've kind of got eyes on. And then also Spaceful Art, who we've had at our potluck auction. I think that's an awesome one of one collection that it's got more of like a generative collection feel to it, but it's all one of one pieces. On the Fantom side of things, I want to mention a couple. I got to mention our guy Selick. Just an incredible graffiti artist. The stuff that he's putting through on the Couldheadz auction house is insane. But I think his generative collection, the Fantom Wheels, it's one of the early mints on Fantom. I think it's terribly underrated. A small collection of, I think it's only 1,111. And I think the floor is like 11 Fantom right now. So it's too cheap for too good of an artist. I got to mention Freud. Freud from the Flamingos is just an absolute legend. Talk about a project that's probably underrated. AVAX Machina. Yeah, just an incredible artist. The what he offers as value to the ecosystems is just goes above and beyond. Like the Final Export podcast that he does, where he brings on artists from cross chains, and just really dives into the artist perspective of things. It's something that I can't do in my AMAs because I just don't have the art background that Freud has. So I absolutely love listening to his podcast, and then his Twitter Spaces now that he's holding this Unbreakable Creators Weekly. Again, there was like 45 of us, 50 of us in there, from all kinds of different chains. I think that's big, and they were kind of the beginning of just really pushing for this multi-chain culture.
Yeah, I was on there. It was amazing.
I jumped in that space this morning for the first time. I'll agree that the vibe in there and the energy and the conversation was just really fun to listen to. So I think I'm going to make that a new habit to catch that.
Yeah, I almost called you out to be like, hey, we need to hear from Chiknwhalegod, but it was early in the morning. And I was like, man, I knew you were on the West Coast. I was like, it's real early there. So
I had my 1-year-old in my lap. Otherwise, I was going to talk. I was just drinking my coffee, kind of waking up for the morning. But
yeah, we were in the same boat. My wife just actually brought my 11-month-old in here to say hi after she just woke up from her nap. So I was taking care of the little ones this morning. But next time I'll call you out. So we'll get you up there. But yeah, just to wrap up, I just want to add, we've got a huge mint this Friday, and we've got this thing. I don't know if you guys know about the project, but it's called Potluck Realm, and they're kind of like World of Warcraft type characters. They'd be incredible avatars one day, awesome in the metaverse. But the first gen was orcs, so the Potluck Realm orcs, and now it's the Potluck Realm elves. And these elves are like beautiful. I mean, incredibly done. Masha, our artist, she's an incredible Russian artist. She's really coming into her own in the NFT space. And this project, she's been working on this for months, and it includes over 20 legendaries. I think it'll be like 25 101 legendaries. Some of them are GIF, MP4 files. They're just above and beyond with legendaries. And then the way we did it was there's all the red attributes. We decided, like, whether it's red eyes, red weapons, red anything, we put that in the 350 that will be minted on AVAX, and everything blue is only on the Fantom side. And so it's going to be super sweet. The arbitrage opportunities, because it's traversable afterwards, are going to be there. There's AVAX and like an AVAX specific crown, an AVAX specific weapon. That's really, I think those are the two coolest assets, period. And then there's some Fantom, 2 Fantom ones. But then literally, yeah, just the decision to separate the colors, I think is going to make it really fun when it comes to arbitrage, because you can, as soon as you mint, you can go on our website and you can traverse it from AVAX to Fantom. And those AVAX ones are going to be the rarest ones on Fantom. And if you take Fantom ones that have the blue attributes and you move those over to AVAX, those are going to be the rarest there. And so we saw this like crazy with Obsession, where people were trying to get those red jewels over to Fantom, and they were selling them for crazy amounts. And then people were taking the Fantom rare jewels over to AVAX and making a killing. And so it's just become a lot of fun for us to see the savvy collectors be able to really make a lot of money in the bear market, like people making 10x real quick on the mints, just because they know what they're doing. But now we've got it so that you can traverse immediately on our website, because we were sick of waiting for tofu. So Q, our web dev, who's just a genius, has it. So now it's just straight on the website. So you can just go back and forth and you'll be able to stake on Fantom. So just go on the website, traverse it over. Once it sells out, you can stake on Fantom. And then afterwards, you're like, hey, I want to return it back to AVAX, sell it on Campfire, whatever you want to do, you can do that. So it's going to be a ton of fun. But it's a small mint. There'll be about 650 available for public mint on Fantom, and only 350 on AVAX. And and there's a lot of whitelisting, so make sure you get whitelisted. One of the easy ways to get whitelisted is you can go on Campfire and you can buy the orcs, because for every 5 orcs you hold in your wallet, or there might not be many listed on Campfire. I don't know if people are listing them, but you may be able to get one on Kalau or NF Trade as well. But if you hold 5 orcs in your wallet across AVAX or Fantom, you're whitelisted for a pre-sale mint, or you can buy your pre-sale mints your whitelist spots with labs tokens. And now we have the site set up because we want to encourage, cross chain and help people on AVAX, where if you can on the website buy a whitelist spot on the AVAX side with AVAX Labs, or you can buy a whitelist spot on the Fantom side with Fantom Labs. And so going to be a lot of fun. And then we have a project coming out. If you know how we have it set up with our platinum passes on Fantom, there may be a small run, first time this is ever being released, because those platinum passes only get you pre-sale mint spots on Fantom. They don't cross over. So there may be coming very soon a small run of platinum passes for AVAX, and there may be a Couldheadz tribute platinum pass by Forexis, the one who makes the meta cards. So just be on the lookout, because I know you guys are trying to stack up on things. So that may be coming near you, and there may be 5 ultimate pass possibilities in there. An ultimate pass gets you it's where you collect all the different platinum passes, and then you burn them, and it gives you an ultimate pass, and that gets you a free airdrop of every mint we ever do. And so our platinum pass is minted at 30 Fantom. The floor is over 300 Fantom now. The ultimate pass floor, I think, is over 5,000 Fantom. And so it's crazy. So I'm excited to bring a little bit of that heat to AVAX. So it's going to be a lot of fun. So you guys be ready to mint Friday, and be ready for those passes. Because last time we did a stealth mint, we just dropped the website link, and that's not something we normally do. And the people who missed that were very upset, and but I liked it. So just be expecting something similar on AVAX.
I like what you were just talking about, though, because like we're talking about bridging communities, and like the examples you just had, it's not only just allowing the bridge to be there, but people to be incentivized to merge communities and like jump over. Because I noticed it too when Obsession came out. I was like, there was only 300, but now there's 356 over here on Avalanche, which means you had 56 people jumping over.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like those things were going for pretty good above mint price, right out the gate. And so it just encourages that cross pollination of communities, and it's really cool. You guys, I think, are kind of leading the way, and like I'm excited to support it and be a part of it.
I mean, it's even caused some innovation. Like NFT tiers had to step up and create, for the first time ever, basically an overall rarity of an entire collection multi-chain. So that way you can use like NFT tiers to basically see the rarity of the entire collection. And then, if the most rare one happens to exist over on Fantom, well, then may make sense to go get it on Fantom. Or if it's on AVAX, it's on AVAX.
And of course,
but now
every website has different rarity systems. So like Campfire's got a different one than NFT Key, and they've got a different one than NFTers, but you can get a good sense. I mean, they're usually very similar. And yeah, it was really cool. We reached out to NFTers and we're like, hey, because, people are making mistakes. People are like, somebody will bridge one over and they're like, I got the rarest one. They're not realizing what's happening because they're not a part of our community yet. And they're getting burned. They're buying something for way above what the real probably value is once the traversing starts to take place. So NFTers, I was like, hey, is this possible for you guys to aggregate between all sites and between chains for us? And they don't charge us anything. And they said, yeah, we should be able to. Let's look into it. I went to bed, and then I get up in the morning. Less than 2 hours later, they had all of our collections done across chain, aggregated it all. And I was like, that's incredible. Those are the type of builders we need in the ecosystem. I know they've got a good relationship with Campfire going forward. And so just big shout out to NFTers and what they're building. Give them a follow on Twitter, because all the projects that want to list with them, you can reach out to them. They'll list you there. And yeah, it's great to support those who are supporting, us. So,
yeah, we started together. She's amazing, and she did the same thing for us. She just popped up in our Discord. It's like, Mr. Wonderland, is that you from Trips? I'm like, yeah, because her Discord started there, and I was like, yeah, is Couldheadz your project? Like, yeah, me and Chiknwhalegod. Man, it's about to go on NFT. I'm not even asking anything. Just do it,
awesome.
And boom,
awesome.
like an hour later, it happened, and then they couldn't get the right data, but she wanted to have us there, and then dots connected with Campfire and an NFTer, and now they're working together. So amazing.
Yeah, I do want to
She's
give a quick
amazing.
shout.
What they're doing is amazing.
I do want to give a quick shout out to NFTers because that's awesome. I want to give a shout out to Campfire. What they're doing in terms of just being so tapped into the community, having that event section where you literally always know when there's a community spaces going on or a community event. That is massive. Yeah, I love what they're building. And then I want to shout out another team on Fantom, the Fantom Watch team. They're kind of I'll drop the link here, but it's called ftmwatch.com. They basically are like kind of our aggregator for all NFTs that are going on Fantom, in terms of what's minting, what's coming up minting. They've got some stats on their website now. What that team is putting together is incredible. They've got a new content page where they show podcasts from around the ecosystem. I can't say enough about that team.
Yeah, I mean, they've built it all. That's the community, just building out something, not making any money, but doing something to support the ecosystem. And I'm sure they will make money because they've just provided value. But yeah, just a little alpha. I'm not going to share any more right now, but very soon you'll find out why. But what Potluck and Couldheadz obviously a part of that, but what Potluck and Campfire are about to do together is gonna reshape everything cross chain. And so we are very excited for what's coming there. Won't say more because legally I don't think I'm allowed to. No, because I don't want, Mr. Wonderland's already spilled too much alpha, so I'll just keep it reined in a little bit and say what I'm allowed to say.
Sorry, Josh.
But yeah, hey, we're over time. We started late, but we've done right at an hour here. And so, yeah, excited for this Friday's Mint. So excited for what's happening with Couldheadz. And just so you all know, you now have, between the time a couple days ago where we announced that we were partnering up, and now you guys have 95 new wallet addresses, which is a 20% growth, almost 25% growth in like 3 days in new wallets. And so Couldhead community, I think it's good for you, and I think it's good for us. You guys put us over 4,000 unique wallets in our Potluck Labs ecosystem, which is pretty awesome, especially coming from Fantom and the average wallets that are typically involved in a community. And so, man, we're just so excited to grow together. You guys just add a powerhouse duo to our team, and so we couldn't be more excited. Thank you for being on, making the time, and it's been awesome.
Yeah, appreciate
Thanks,
it very
man.
much.
We're just as excited.
Well,